How you doing? I'm Kevin with Godlike Incorporated, and I'm here at the Mayo Performing Arts Center in Morristown, New Jersey with Dave Weiner from the Steve Vai Band. Dave's resume is much too long to list, but besides being wingman for one of the greatest guitar players living today, he also has his own fusion trio, Visible at Night. He's also a renowned solo artist of his own right. He's just released an acoustic solo CD, correct?
That's right.
Which you guys should definitely check out. And he's also been a longtime Maxon endorser. You may have seen some of his videos on YouTube and on our websites where he demos a lot of the Maxon pedals and takes you through and explains them very aptly. So Dave tonight is using a Maxon VOP9 Vintage Overdrive Pro in his rack for his electric guitar, and also a Maxon CP9 Pro Plus for his acoustic rig.
Yeah, I've been a big fan of Maxon pedals for quite a few years now. I have a wide variety of them for a lot of different uses. I'll tell you the way I'm using a couple of Maxon pedals today. In my pedal drawer back here, I've got a Maxon VOP9, which is the Vintage Overdrive Pro. It's been one of my go-to overdrives for quite a long time. And the way that I use overdrives, it's, I think most guitar players work really hard to get their tone, their sound from the guitar to the amp direct. And I'm kind of a purist in that nature, and anything that's going to come between that has to only complement it. And I use overdrives for different color, So the VOP9 is a very smooth, very amp-like kind of overdrive. It's got a really nice kind of soft clipping to it that just kind of makes things round. And that's the way that I like, my tone. I have enough of the kind of grind and edge from the amps. I think I like my overdrives and my lead stuff to be just a little bit smoother. The VOP9 definitely does that for me. The way that I use it, aside from that, is like, here's my amp levels. The overdrive would be like this, I don't know if you can even see that movement right there, but it's just a hair in volume and a hair in gain above what the amp is giving me. So let me give you an example here. So here's the amp. And here's the overdrive. So, unless you're listening really closely, you probably can't even hear the difference. Again, for me, it's just having it a hair above unity from what the guitar and the amp are giving me already. And it's kind of, I use it mostly for leads. It's a bit more gain, a bit more volume, and it just helps things feel a lot better for a live, situation. Like I said, it's also about color, and I have a lot of different overdrives, depending on what I want, like a nice 70s, darker, classic tube screamer type of thing, or a more neutral, smooth type of thing, or something that's bright. I'll switch out the overdrives, and Maxon makes a good variety of all of that kind of stuff, and I use them whatever I feel like using as far as color. So, again, here's the amp by itself. And then I'll put the VOP9 in. And again, it may not be extremely audible and obvious, but it's instantly smoother to my touch and the feel of it. A little bit darker, it's giving me more of that classic overdrive type of sound, and that's kind of the sound that I'm going for right now. So it's smoother, it's creamier, it's got that great smooth overdrive to it. Here it is off. So you can hear it brightens up a little bit. It doesn't have quite as much gain around it. It's just really nice to play with, the overdrive on top of an already driven amp. But I don't want to just kill everything with so much saturation. So it's just a little bit above it. So that's the electric side of things. On the acoustic side of things, I have a CP9 Pro Plus down here on my acoustic board. So down here I do have, like I said, the Maxon CP9 Pro Plus. And with acoustic, I like it to be slightly chewy, so it's a bit more of an aggressive compression. So you can see down here on the pedal here, I've got my threshold about 2.5, my ratio is actually not that high. It's only about 2, and then my makeup gain is whatever it needs to be to bring it back up to you know, to unity, or maybe just a hair above that for a live situation. But one of the reasons I love this particular compressor is it has the you know, the detection light on it. So a lot of compressors don't have that, and you know, if you use it very subtly, it kind of doesn't sound like it's doing anything. It's kind of more of a psychological, visual type of thing. I like to know that it's working, and the LED on here certainly lets me know that it is working. But it's really slight, you know, it's slightly chewy. I have it, you know, a tiny bit aggressive, but it is actually really slight and kind of clear. And that's what I really like about this compressor. It doesn't overtake the tone of the natural guitar. So here it is without it. And it sounds great, but the compressor just kind of helps sustain everything. It kind of gives it a bit more rounder type of sound. I do have it boosting a tiny bit as well with the makeup gain. And I do some acoustic trading with Vi during the show, and the compressor certainly helps to make, you know, some of this soloing on an acoustic much easier to do. Again, it just kind of clips off the attack, and it just makes things nice and round. And the word that I keep using is chewy, but that's my favorite word for compression because that's what I like. So, you know, if with the camera, if you do see what's happening with the LED, you know, you can see it coming on and off slightly. It's just, you know, it's pushing it down and bringing it up when it needs to do it. So, great compressor. And I also use these compressors over clean channels on electric guitar. Anything I do clean always has a compressor on it. Just my personal taste. I like, you know, that bit of squishiness on top of a clean channel. And the CP9 Pro Plus has been one of my favorite compressors for quite a while now. So that's the Maxon stuff that I'm using today.
So there you have it, Dave Weiner and Maxon. For more info on these pedals, check us out online at www.maxonfx.com. Check out Dave on Facebook, YouTube, and daveweiner.com. This is Kevin for Godlike Incorporated signing off, telling you to go get some.